I mentioned before in the previous video that this sprite is a good one to choose for controlling the character along the screen, and the reason for that really is because my game, let's say it's called Prime Time, I've got a very definite audience and purpose. So the audience is going to be very young children, and the purpose is to get points by moving over prime numbers and avoiding others. And so what this particular sprite offers us is something which is appealing to young children. So again, these are kind of the reasons behind the choices. So the look and feel of the game will be sort of a primary colours type vibe, really, and it's going to appeal to boys and girls. So it's not going to be, you know, shooting missiles or anything like that for that particular age group. So let's have a look at how we're going to control this particular sprite. Now the first thing is I'm just going to give this sprite a name. So let's it doesn't really matter, but I need to know what it is rather than just calling it sprite1. So I've just called it Bluey over here. So I've just typed the name in, and now this is what it's going to be called. So and I need it to respond to the arrow keys on the keyboard, because I have to assume that everybody has a keyboard. So and it needs to be controlled by the arrow keys. So that kind of gives me a hint that, you know, it needs to move. So I'll probably need to look in here for something, and I need to control it. So maybe there's something under control here. Now there's one of these hats, as they're called, these ones where, you know, nothing can attach to the top of it, which says when space key pressed. Now I don't want to press the space key, but I do want to press the arrow keys. So, but there aren't any arrow key ones, and what you'll notice is not only does it say space there, but it allows you to select any kind of key that you want to. So I now need to move this across onto my screen. One of the things that you might notice if you're new to Scratch is that if you've somehow clicked on the stage and the stage has got a blue border around it, then that's not really where we want to be adding our when space key pressed, because we don't want to be controlling the white background. What we want to be doing is controlling our Bluey character here. So make sure that that's clicked and you've got the hat added to the correct one. If you somehow manage to add this to the stage, it doesn't really matter. You can pick it up, put it over here, and it disappears. The other thing that you'll notice for stage and for Bluey is that you have got 3 tabs. You've got costumes and sounds and various other things, and we'll have a look at these as we're going along, but it's just pointing those out. So I'm on Bluey. I've added this hat, which is I can't add any other block above it, and I'm going to say let's do the up arrow key first. Okay, so when the up arrow key is pressed, I want it to travel upwards. And the way to think about traveling is that this particular grid or square here, this area of the screen where the action takes place, is can be referenced using XY coordinates. And so you'll see as I move my mouse, the X and the Y coordinates change, and 0, 0 is somewhere here in the middle of the screen. You know, you can kind of move your mouse around to find out where that is. So I want, obviously when the up arrow key is moved, I want it to go up, which means I want it to go up in relation to the y-axis, and when I do the down arrow, then I want it to move down in relation to the y-axis. So it's quite an important concept to get across, the grid concept. So let's say when the up arrow key is pressed, then what I want to happen is some sort of motion. And this is where all of the movement blocks are that I can use. So when the up arrow key is pressed, then I want to change Y by 10. That means change the Y position of Bluey by 10. And so we can test that out. So I can press the up arrow key on my keyboard and Bluey moves up, and then it gets kind of stuck right at the top, and I haven't got a way of moving it down. So I need to add those other keys. So let's pick up Bluey and drag him back. So that's one of the things you can do on this stage, as it's called, this stage over here where all the action takes place. You can actually pick up your characters and drag them where you want them to go if they kind of disappear off the screen. So at the moment all that Bluey can do is move up. So now that we know that we can move Bluey up, then it must be possible to move Bluey down. So let's choose this control hat again, and this time let's choose the down arrow. And for the down arrow, I'm going to, again, under the motion tab over there, let's get change Y by 10, but this time instead of changing Y by 10, I'm going to put a minus sign in front of the 10. So now my up and down arrows should be able to move Bluey, and yes, as you can see, that absolutely works. So then I need the left and right arrows, and all I'm going to do is change X by 10 and minus 10. You can change these numbers to 5 and minus 5 and see whether that speeds up Bluey or slows Bluey down. So let's go and get our when space key pressed again, and this time let's choose the right arrow. So the right arrow, I need Bluey to move in the X direction. So let's change X by 10, and that should, yep, that's correct. That's going in the positive X direction, but I can't use my arrow keys to move back. So I need to get this hat again, and let's choose the left arrow, and this time change X by minus 10. So that's straightforward pattern to follow. So what you'll notice is these commands here are, we've got one individual one for each one of these, and so these are commands which respond to events on the keyboard. So as you can see, I can now move Bluey around the screen using just the arrow keys, and he or she or it is extremely happy going in these directions. And if you only wanted the characters to be controlled going left and right, you wouldn't have these events here. And these are happening all at the same time. So in the next video, what we'll have a look at is our next element, and we're going to get hold of a prime number and program that to move around the screen.